Today, 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 everyone, I have a special guest in the studio today. My little one. The one that's been around and been in my life for almost 15 years. Of course, anyone that has a child has that roller coaster experience up and down and around and about. But it's experience that I would never trade in. It has its nuances, but hey, I love every moment of it. And having talks with my child, my only child, is one of the best experience a father could have with a daughter. So on that note, let's So, Aiyani,
Hello.
how you doing? How you doing? How you
I'm
doing?
doing great. How are you?
I am doing great, my little one.
That's great. That's great.
All right, now we're gonna have a relaxing, candid conversation.
Can I say something?
Oh, definitely.
Am I able to be funny?
Yeah, you can be yourself.
You know what's crazy? He was just giving y'all that speech, but he wasn't acting like he wasn't yelling at me 10 minutes ago. Arguing with me 10 minutes ago. My father yells at me a lot, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. He be yelling at me. So he just gave y'all that speech 5 minutes ago, but 10 minutes ago from there, he was just yelling at me. Okay, I'll just put that out there. I'm faking it.
Well, anyone out there that's a parent knows that, as I said before, we have the roller coaster up and down. Because if she says something that's wrong, I will correct it. If she says something with a grammar that's incorrect, I will correct it. And I give her the freedom to also correct me when I make mistakes, because of course I'm human too. And every father, every parent, every mother needs to have that relationship with a child, with their child, so the child can feel comfortable with being themselves around a parent. And so I gave her the freedom. I told her mother many years ago that I would like for her to be able to express herself freely, so as she grows older, I would know who I'm dealing with, and not when it's too late, I'm wondering if, who's that? Is that my daughter? It's like, I don't know this person. And I never want to be one of those parents where someone comes and says, Aiyani did this and Aiyani didn't do this, or anything that they say, it wouldn't just be Aiyani didn't do that, or yes, Aiyani did. I want to be sure where I can say, hey, I don't think Aiyani would do something like that. And of course, we still have to be wise enough and open enough to know that if someone does say something, we have to take it with a grain of salt, or at the same time really assess it. So I give her the freedom to allow herself to be who she is as she's growing up, because it's very important. I always express that to her mom. Let's allow her to be herself so she can flourish and be comfortable enough to speak to us. And so I'll let her give her feedback on that part.
Honestly, I don't really have any extra feedback, but I'm happy to say, because I know most people can't say that, they can come to, especially their father, they can't really come to their father and be like, hey, I'm able to say A, B, C, they can't be fluent with it. But I guess what I'm saying is that I'm grateful that I'm able to come to you about a lot of stuff that a lot of kids wouldn't be able to come to their dad about.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, listen, I remember when uh, before she ever arrived, I told her mother, I said we're going to have a girl because I felt the morning sickness. I was the one vomiting, and she didn't know for the first 2 weeks or so that she was pregnant. And I remember I woke up one morning and I told her, I said, hey, we're having a girl. And she's like, how do you know? And I said, we are because I dreamt it. I know exactly what she's going to do, when she's going to do it, and how she's going to do it. And she said, how do you know that? I said, because I dreamt it. And I tell you, when she was born, everything that I dreamt came to pass. It was almost as if it was deja vu for me, because the same way I saw her crawling from the room door over to meet me at the couch and pull herself up, um, holding on to my knee and pulling herself up. Everything that I dreamt in the dream happened, and it was airy. My hair lifted up, like stood up on my body, because I was like, wow, everything I'm dreaming is coming true. And lucky enough for myself at the time that I was working from home, so I was able to have her with me, and so I ended up being the one teaching her to walk. I ended up being the one teaching her to read, spell. We went through all these different uh, uh, parts in our life, getting to know each other as a father and a daughter. I tell you, one particular thing I remember when we were driving, and I had my music playing, and she would. I remember I had music up loud, and I turned the music down, and she started wailing like, "Ah, ah," and I had to turn the music back up because she was like, then bobbing to the music, and we got to a stop sign, and she looked over and she saw a truck and a tractor, and she was like, "Father, father, look, what's that? What's that?" I was like, "That's a tractor and a truck." And I went to explaining to her what their purpose is, for what they were doing. And every time after that is as if she always look out for a truck and a tractor, and she would call certain things a truck and a tractor, and I would have to explain to her that no, that's not a truck or a tractor. And do you remember when you were learning to read,
Yeah,
and
of course.
when it was tumultuous for you to learn to read, and how it started getting you to read by playing food games when you wanted to Chinese food?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry y'all had to hear that monster's laugh. At first, when you were describing it, no. But as you said it, when you said Chinese food, I said yes.
Yeah.
Because I know that I used to like Chinese food a lot. Like, you used to order it a lot. So in order for me to get certain things I wanted, you'd be like, you have to spell it and you got to say it properly, pronounce it properly and everything. I mean, it really paid off, though. Because, like, certain people, when I get in social settings where I know for a fact I need to be more proper with myself, and, people say that, like, I know how to enunciate my words properly and things like that.
Correct. And of course, I get on you when you.
Yeah, can I be honest with the podcast?
Of course, that's what we're here
Podcast
for.
Think and Say, I think it's really annoying when he does that, because I think he fails to understand that you can talk a certain way when you're with your friends. There's no reason for you to be calling me out when I can understand, excuse me, if we're in a social setting around like contractors, or just in a social setting that's like for you, if that makes sense. Right? I could understand if you want me to speak proper. But when I'm around my friends and we talk the way we talk, there is no reason you should be upset. It's not like, because I know it's a respect thing. But I feel like at the age that I am now, Because am I allowed to tell the podcast or no?
Yeah, you're 14.
I'm 14.
Almost 15.
Almost 15. I'm 14, almost 15. And I think I talk extremely well for how I do now compared to most people, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like when I'm with my friends, any of my friends or people my age, I shouldn't be forced to speak proper because I'm around my friends.
But, I always say, practice don't just make perfect. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all.
Drink
I got
some
the
water.
cause.
Practice don't just make perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Practice makes what?
It makes perfect.
No, I always say practice make permanent. That's why I said.
You do say that.
Practice.
You do say that.
Practice don't just make perfect. It makes permanent. Because once you practice something, then it's almost as if you're forced to speak or act a certain way when you're around certain people. But when it's become permanent, you don't have to fake it.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree so much.
Give me your feedback.
You know how mom is.
Right.
You know the setting that I am around when I'm with mom.
Right.
Compared to when I'm with you.
Correct.
I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all gonna hear me step away, hold on. Okay, so because I was very young and I was back and forth between you and mom and you, right? I was able to learn when to speak properly and when you don't have to. It's called code switching. I'm very good at code switching. I'm going to be honest. I'm good at turning it off and on. It doesn't feel forced for me.
Forced?
It doesn't feel forced for me, particularly because like I'm used to it. So right now, how the podcast is hearing me, I can't guarantee y'all I speak like this on a daily. I can't. But y'all are hearing me speak properly because we're in a proper setting. You get me? So I don't really feel forced when I do it.
All right. So, like I always say this, that when you, like you say, code switching, when you do code switching, our brain tends to go in a comfortable mode. And once we become comfortable with the certain way we act, a certain way we speak, then we're relaxed. And if we get around a certain group of people and we get comfortable and we don't know if they're necessarily watching our behavior and we fall back in that comfort zone, it tends to fall to what we are comfortable with doing, and we don't know who's paying attention and the repercussions that may come from it. This is why I always get on you at certain times, say, hey, don't speak properly.
Yeah, because you never know who's watching you for real.
Exactly.
And like how people are now, especially with like body gestures and everything. When you move a certain way, you flaunt yourself a certain way, you walk a certain way, people are always going to categorize you, So I know that's important, but like, I'm saying this maybe because I'm young, so it's probably going to sound immature, but I feel like I know who to be comfortable with and who not to be comfortable with. You know how I am. You know that my friend group, very small, because, I'm not comfortable with everyone. Like, I can be friendly, I can be cordial with people, I can coexist with people, but speaking in terms of, like, I know who to be comfortable speaking around like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I do understand that. It's just because we live in a society where people are judged regardless whether you like it or not. We're judged on many fronts and in many metrics. We're judged.
Yeah.
It's not something that we can ask a person to do or not to do. They're going to do it because they want to do it, right?
Yeah.
And for that reason, I'm always on you about making sure that you do things the proper way, right? Speak the proper way.
Oh, that's so boring, though. I'm just saying that because I think again I'm saying that because I'm young. So from my young perspective, that seems very boring. I know you're always on me, and I always know to use it when I'm supposed to use it. But I'm not sure if I'm ever. I listen to you on a lot of things, even when I first don't agree with you. You force me to listen, but sometimes I still decide to listen to you anyway because you're my father, and you get me to see other perspectives of things. But like, this is not something that I see I could like get another perspective on because I've been doing it for so long. So I know you tell me to be on my, is it P's and Q's? I know to be on my P's and Q's, but like, I don't.
So, all right, let's look at it like this.
Yeah.
When you come to me and you say, Father, I have something to talk to you about, and I would be working on a computer or writing something or just doing something, and I immediately, if it's really important, I will say, give me a moment, give me 5 minutes, give me 5 minutes or so, and then I would say, okay, Aiyani, I'm ready. We can have a conversation. And you say, oh, Father, it's going to be 5 minutes. It's going to be 10 minutes. And it turns out to be an hour, hour and a half.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I love those conversations, though.
Well, they're important for us to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
But the reason I do that is because I want to set the same example. So as you grow older, you can look back and you can say, hey, when I'm speaking to my father, he stopped whatever he's doing to have a conversation with me, to hear me out.
Yeah.
Right? And you in turn have picked up that same personality or that same practice. And when you have conversations with your friends, you become the listener, you become the ear that they can turn to for conversations and advice.
Yeah.
And I give you the advice. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, everyone. She's recently getting over a little bug. So
please excuse me, guys. I'm not doing
sorry
on
about
purpose.
that. So you have friends that will turn to you and say, Aiyani, I need for you to hear me out, and you'll counsel them. And sometimes I'm amazed of the advice that you give to them.
Oh, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
put a lot of time. I learned it from you. I put a lot of time and work into it.
which is good. Because as I say to you on a regular basis, I want you to be the best version of yourself every day. And telling you that I love you, when, sometimes I say, Aiyani, I love you. He's like, Father, is something wrong?
Yeah, because you just say it out of the blue sometimes. Like, I understand you love me. I know Mom loves me too, but like, you just say it at the most rando times, and you make me like, can I say something?
Yeah.
Imagine you're watching a movie, right? And there's always that dramatic scene. Oh my gosh, I feel like that cough just keeps coming back in waves. It's annoying. But anyways, there's always that dramatic time in the movie where a parent or somebody who is older or younger tells a second person, hey, I love you. And it's like dramatic, and it makes the other character like question, is there something happening? Also, can I say something else?
Of course.
Off topic. But do y'all know how long it took to get this perfect rasp in my voice so y'all could hear my podcast voice? I don't know y'all know that. Also, can I say something else?
Yeah.
Because the conversation's just flowing, right? I don't want to steer off topic
Right.
too long, but also, I want to say, after listening... Sorry. After listening to Two Hot Takes for so long, I've been listening to their podcast since I was like 12, and Emma Chamberlain too. Not that they're gonna see this, but if y'all do see this, I love y'all. Y'all raised me.
Wait.
I'm joking, but podcast wise, I've always been obsessed with Emma Chamberlain's voice.
Okay.
Always. And especially the two girls, especially the main one. I forget her name all the time, but I know exactly what she looks like. Two Hot Takes. And she always comes on her set with coffee, a blanket, and a raspy voice. And I love it because it just sounds so professional and laid back.
Okay.
But anyways, what were we talking about? I'm so sorry.
Digressed, obviously.
I digressed. Yes, I did. What was I? Oh, I was going to say, you say you love me at the most random times.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me feel like, are you, no offense. And I'm about to say something. And I hope it doesn't offend anybody. But, oh, I don't know if I should say it. Because I know I don't want to get y'all podcast canceled.
Yeah. Go ahead, say it.
You sure?
Be mindful of what you're saying, though.
Okay. You make me feel like you have this underlying disease that I don't know about. Like
disease?
Like you got this hidden disease you're suffering from that I don't know about. And like you just come in the house, oh, I love you so much, Aiyani. I mean, I love you too, but like this is not a moment. Like it's just so random. You say it like multiple times. Not multiple times, but you say it reasonable times, but like.
But sometimes I call you when I'm out. I call in and say, "Hi, Aiyani, I love you," or just send a text to you and say, "Aiyani, I love you."
I mean, oh, sorry, my bad.
Go ahead.
I really appreciate it though, because you never know when's the last. Not trying to make it sad, but you never know when's the last time you're going to speak to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, yeah, you never know when's the last time you're gonna hear from someone. And I've always heard stories on. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I always hear stories on TikTok, Instagram about people who, especially with dads, they got into arguments with their dads. And can I explain this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. With Grandpa Rupert.
Mm-hmm.
The last argument, before I got the call that he passed away, I had got into an argument with him. And I told him that I hated him. I didn't mean it, though. I was 8. But I didn't mean it. Mm-hmm. I only said that because I didn't get what I wanted. Mm-hmm. I'm better now. I'm older now. So chill on me. But at the time, I was being immature and stupid because I didn't get what I want and I didn't know any better. Mm-hmm. So when I told Grandpa, I was like, I hate you. Like, you're the worst grandpa ever. And I stormed off. And then I went. And then I went back home, and then I get the call that Grandpa passed. I'm like, oh, man, I didn't even get to tell him that I love him or goodbye or anything. I didn't get to say anything that I wanted to say to him. Mm-hmm. So it made me feel really sad because it's like, that's why I always try, with the way you counsel me on things, I always try to be forgiving as possible. I'm very straightforward on how I feel about things, though, and my boundaries. Am I digressing?
No.
Okay,
you're fine.
I'm very straightforward on how I feel about things, right? Mm-hmm. I'll be quick to tell somebody, like, you can get my love, but, like, you can get the kindness out of me, but when I start to feel like I'm getting taken advantage of and you're constantly overstepping my boundaries, I'm quick to tell somebody, I don't like what you're doing, right? Okay, I just lost my train of thought. My apologies. Give me a second.
You are quick to tell someone how you feel. Mm-hmm. With boundaries, and you're talking about Grandpa.
Oh, okay, thank you. What I was saying, I'm very good with forgiveness. Long as I'm a really good communicator, right? Be clear on your side, I'll be clear on mine. Vice versa. I've been waiting so long to use that word. Vice versa. But anyways, I feel like I try to be forgiving as possible because majority of the people I argue with, because, okay, I'm going to get to the point. Hold on. I know I'm talking a lot. But what I'm saying is I don't deal with things I don't want to deal with. I've been waiting to say that so long on the podcast. But I don't deal with things I don't deal with things I don't want to deal with. I'm not nonchalant, but when I don't care about somebody like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even save people's numbers. I'm not trying to sound cocky, but not everybody, there are certain friendships I have with people, and it's like, think of a table, right? And there's just this one leg, and I think I've used this analogy with you one time. There's just that one leg on the table that's extremely unbalanced. And, you know, if the wrong thing happens, that whole table can just crumble, right?
Right.
That's how it is with a lot of people that I speak to, right? So their feelings might be, I'm genuine, but like I'm always gonna have this back thought, like there are certain things I shouldn't be telling you, or there's certain things that I shouldn't do with you because I know this could cause this, right?
Yes.
And I'm the type of person to be cool with everybody.
Okay.
So the people that I do argue with matter to me, right? You, and then, I'm not going to say her name,
Right.
but my 2 best friends, them.
Right.
Known the second one for
Right.
kind of while, and then the first one,
Right.
since tadpoles.
Correct. Like I like to say, she got that from me, since tadpoles.
Since a tadpole. So when I argue with her, I don't want anybody to ever get it twisted. I love that girl to death, right?
Okay.
Unbiological sister. So when I argue with people...
Did you say biological or
unbiological?
Okay.
When I argue with people, I try to be forgiving with them because you never know the last time that you're going to speak to them.
Good way of thinking.
And one thing I would regret the most is to argue with someone that I love so much, and then I hear something horrible happen to them. It's like, oh my God. And it's like, and you really got to sit here and process, did that argument really matter?
Right, exactly.
Like, you got to really sit here and have some self-reflection with yourself. Like, did this matter? Was this really something? Could this have been solved with simple communication? And then I go from there. And it's also some advice that y'all should know. And I know y'all know this already. But I'm just letting y'all know. Y'all should really I feel like life and relationships are much easier if when y'all are upset at each other, instead of am I allowed to give relationship advice?
Go ahead. We're having a candid conversation right now.
I'll be the relationship guru. But
a relationship guru, Clyde. You hear that? At 14 years old.
When y'all are upset with each other, it's good to just communicate and be like, hey, just give me like 30 minutes. This is what I'm going to call... Sorry. Best friend number 1. Best friend. You know who best friend number 2 is?
Correct.
Best friend number 1 since tadpoles, right? Anytime we get into a crazy disagreement, which is rare now. When we were younger, we'd fight over stupid stuff. Y'all know who Charlie D'Amelio is? One time, her and I fell out because she used to edit Charlie D'Amelio, and I didn't like Charlie D'Amelio.
Hold on. She's not saying that her and Charlie D'Amelio fell out. She's using that as a reference, an example to explain about her friend. All right, continue.
She's a really good editor, right? And I remember the wave back in 2021 was editing Charlie D'Amelio. We used to get followers out of that stuff, whatever, right? I didn't like Charlie D'Amelio because I didn't understand at the time. I was like, I don't understand why she's so famous. Hold on. Still don't care. Sorry. Not trying to sound cocky. But at the time, I used to wonder what the hype about Charlie D'Amelio was. She didn't make The Renegade, but Renegade is what made her popular. And so I remember, I'm going to be honest, 2021, 2020, I was 6th grade. I was a follower. I'm going to be honest. So.
Pause.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. Now, every child, at least in my experience that I've come across, mine be no special, no different. When a new trend comes out, they're quick to jump on board. And as a parent, I would say, you're being a follower. She's like, no, I'm not being a follower. I'm a leader. They follow me. I'm like, no, you're being a follower. If the wind blows left, you go left. If the wind goes right, you go right. You're being a follower. And she would get upset because I'm telling her that she's being a follower. And as she's gotten older, take over. Go ahead.
Excuse me. I still want to know, am I able to know?
Go ahead.
I still disagree when he says that. I am not a follower. But when you are on TikTok and people participate in a trend, does it really make me a follower if I'm okay? So I know how that sounds saying it out loud, but that's my story.
Wait. Now you hear yourself saying it out loud.
No. I'm getting somewhere. Clyde, put the camera back on me. I'm getting somewhere. When you were on TikTok, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not too loud. When you were on TikTok and you see a trend, you're going to participate in it. But that doesn't specifically make me a follower.
All
I'm
right.
just participating in a trend, something everyone does. And if it's not hurting... Ooh, man. If it's not hurting anyone, I'm not a follower. End of story.
All
I'm
right.
just not.
You can say end of story all you want, but
Yeah.
okay. If a trend is going on and you stand separate from that trend, you're not a follower. But because everyone is doing it, you decide that you're going to be a part of it. That makes you a follower, right? So, I will say this. If a TikTok trend is happening and you decide that you are going to follow along or do the things that they're doing, that makes you a follower. Because you have to understand, leaders don't follow the pact. The pact follow the leader. And if a trend is going on TikTok, the Gram, Snapchat,
Yeah.
wherever you see that trend is happening and you decide to follow along, that makes you a follower. Inherently, you follow along, it makes you a follower.
May I say something?
Yes.
Which is the boo sound effect on here? Clyde,
No,
can you...
We didn't put the
Clyde, can you play the boo? Can you tell him that response is lame? Boo.
I will have to add that on later.
He's so boring. I'm not a follower.
Hey, but when you played that Yeah Boy, that was right on point. It was perfect. I was like, where did that come from? It was just like the perfect mix.
Yeah. Yeah. So, listen. Again, I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
And I want you to understand. When I was young and we had quite a bit of friends.
Yeah.
All right. Uncle Chris and I, quite a bit of friends. And we realized that the friends that we were having were all getting in trouble. Right? And we were getting carried away in that how should I say, that circle, that loop.
Mm-hmm.
It just kept on coming back. And we had to make a decision. Are we going to go along with what's going on just because we want to retain the friends that we have? Or the associate that we hang around with, or are we going to make a move in a different direction? And he and I made a move in a different direction. And we ended up being, we're here today. And a lot of the people that we grew up with aren't here today. Right? And it's a choice and a decision. I've told you this story before. When I was doing property management, I met a young lady. She came to get an apartment. At the time, she was 19 years old, and she had a young child.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that story I've told you? She had a child when she was 17 years old.
Yeah.
You remember?
Are you talking about that proper girl?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell the story, everyone, so you understand why I'm always on her about being proper, and I'm always on her about the way she carry herself. So while doing property management, I met a 19-year-old. She was like just a few days away from 19. And I said, I just told her, you're 19. You're basically just a few days away from 19, so you're 19. By the time you get the apartment, you're going to be 19. She had a child when she was the end of 17. So the child wasn't fully a year and a half yet. Yeah, it wasn't a year and a half yet. So the child was pretty young. She came looking for an apartment. And when we were having a conversation, I was getting all her information. And the way she spoke was perfect. Her grammar was perfect. Got her information, looked at her address, and it said Overtown. That's in Miami, right? And when she said Overtown, I was kind of like shocked. because most people from Overtown have a certain twang in their voice. They have a certain slang. They have that their articulation, their grammar is not what the standard of being grammatically correct is. She spoke perfect English. And I said to her, you're living in that area and you speak this way. How is it that you speak this way and not the way everyone else in your community speaks? And she says, it doesn't mean because I live in the community, I have to follow along with the way the community speak. I wanted to be different, and I wanted to have a different lifestyle. So I practiced, and once I practiced enough, it became permanent, and I was able to always speak this way. And like I say, goes back to practice don't just make perfect, it makes permanent. So continue.
Y'all, the way I could have sped up that story. Nah, I gotta stop. Oh my gosh, y'all.
Oh my gosh! Did you hear that?
Yo, this cough is killing me. Oh my gosh, y'all just saw my ugly laugh. Oh, well, y'all gonna see it again because I'm gonna be here more than once. It's not my first time. Y'all not gonna see me for a little while, but I'm gonna be back. But that's not the point. I honestly don't know what I was supposed to get from that other than a woman's woman's about to turn 18. She grew up in the hood and she speak proper. So that's all I got from that. I still don't agree because even though he just said all of that, I did specifically say in the beginning, if you're participating in a TikTok trend and it's not hurting anybody, etc. But
I use that example of the young lady to show that she didn't participate in the trend of the way everyone carried themselves. And because of that, she ended up having a different lifestyle. You can point your finger down and say boo all you want, but everyone knows, everyone out there in the world, internet land, wherever you are in the world, and you'll watch this, you will know that what I just said is true. If you follow a trend, you will, hey, we're having a podcast right now. We're not doing that. Okay? Please.
okay.
All right. So when you grow older and you start hanging out and going out and doing, you can do that. But right now we're having a conversation. Let's have the conversation the way
I'm listening.
Okay.
You know, I'm
All
a little
right.
hyper here and there. My bad.
Okay. Don't get carried away. You know. All right. So, as a father to you, what have been your experience of me being your father, me being strict? Because you know that if I say something that I'm going to do something, even if it takes a while, I follow through with what I said I'm going to do. Now, as my daughter, for almost 15 years, what have been your experience with me?
You want me to just say the good or the good and bad?
Good, bad, and the ugly.
Oh, we could start with the ugly. I'm playing, but the good stuff I got out of my father predominantly raising me, communication, being respectful here and there, and what else have I learned? Do I really have to go in depth about communicate? Because I feel like a lot for me is communication.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've helped me with a lot of other stuff, but communication and processing things mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Because being young, we're all just so impulsive. We make impulsive decisions. I have been victim to making or doing petty things to people because, they made me upset. Now it's time to get my gift back. Right? But growing up with you, I've learned to think about things a little bit more before you do them.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now I'm just thinking, I just want to make you upset, but you never know the reaction you're going to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the ugly. We're just going to skip right past the bad because there's no middle ground for my father because he's a special. It's either good or ugly. Very ugly. So, the ugly. Let's get into that.
Okay. She's having a real good time here, Clyde.
I'm going to say something. Are you going to be upset?
Wait. Hold
Okay.
on. Clyde, was it about a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour ago that she was like nervous? Is this the same person that we're talking?
Hey.
All right, go ahead.
Respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
you can be very annoying in certain times that you do. You try to turn everything into a lecture.
Not a lecture, a learning moment.
A lecture. He says learning moment. It's a lecture. He wants to turn everything, no offense, but you like to turn everything into a 10-page essay. And I just don't be trying to hear all of that. It's like you could really turn one thing that you don't like into like maybe a sentence or two or explain to me. But then you got to go on 3 stories about how you took the lions to school and how you rode the waves to school and it's like, I don't care. No offense. I don't care. Like, oh man, my throat's really dry. But sometimes I just don't.
Drink some water. Clyde, you mind bringing some water for her for me, please? Yeah.
You want me to continue?
Yeah, continue.
Yeah. Like, you turn everything into a lecture. Like, little things that I don't like. Y'all ever just think of something?
Give me a cup.
Here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all ever just think of something and think to yourself, it's not that deep? You're not thinking about it deep. And then I come to you about it and you just make it so deep. And it's just like, you get mad when I do this, but sometimes it's not that deep. Like, you're doing too much.
Let me
Let me
interject.
Interject.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'll have some as well, Clyde. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Let me explain why I turn it into a lesson, a learning moment. Thank you. While I turn it into a learning moment. It is because when you ask certain questions, and I'm very attentive to the questions that you ask, it is because as a person, a young person growing, you may not understand the consequences. You may take them very lightly. And I read between the lines. So when you come to me and say, Father, A, and then you jump to C, and I'm like, hey, what happened to B? It's like, no, what happened to B? Because it's A, B, C. I need to be able to understand what B is so I could give you an accurate response to A before we get to C. You want to start with A and jump to C. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be honest. I've done this a few times. Not my proudest moment, but do I really care? No. The reason I skip B is because I probably did something in B that I had no business doing, and I don't need to say it. It does not need to be added. I probably did something. I probably did something that I wasn't supposed to. I probably said something that I wasn't supposed to. Got myself in some trouble. I can't tell you that. So, man, B is not needed sometimes.
Did you hear that? Oh, God.
B is not needed sometimes. So just know the important events happen in A and C. That's all you gotta know.
Okay, so according to you, the important events happen in A and C. But if B
key details.
But if B is not included, there's going to be some component of that that's missing from A and some that's missing from C. And in order for me as a father to give you the correct response, I need to know everything. This is why I made sure that I told you from you were young, and I told your mother from you were young, that I would like for you to be, you have the ability, the freedom, and the awareness to know that you can come to me and ask me about anything. Doesn't matter.
Most definitely.
Because hadn't that been the case, based on certain things that have happened from the time you were 12 up till now, you would have done them, and you would have ended up like a few of your friends or ex-friends in their situations right now.
Yeah.
Right? And even when you would come to me, Father, that's my friend, I love her, or that's this person, and you'd come to me and you'd express certain things to me, and I said, Aiyani, I see certain things that you don't see. If you talk to me about a boy, I would say, I see certain things that you don't see. This is why, and everybody out there, I've said this to her many times, and she've actually implemented it. I've told her that I know that she's young, and that when, right? And when you get older, you're going to be interested in boys.
Exactly.
And in order for me to help you make the right decision so you don't become a statistic and you don't fall into a trauma situation, I would like you to...
It would be healthier that I can come to you and speak to you about it.
And I should meet the boys that you're interested in, right?
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Podcast, that is where I don't 100% disagree, but I really do think that, like, there's a certain, I'm going to use the word relationship. I know you're a little tentative word.
Go ahead.
When I'm in a relationship.
You hear that, everyone?
Not even relationship. Hold on. Talking stage. Correction, talking stage. When I am in a talking stage, I feel like I have to see where things go with this boy and I before I introduce him to you. Not everybody's worthy of meeting you, if that makes sense. I feel like it's a respect thing.
Okay, all right, hold on.
Okay.
All right. Understood.
Okay.
Okay? But remember I said to you, if and when you're interested in a young man, that I need to help you navigate those waters. Because at the point when you become seriously interested in him, the right person that is the wrong person for you, it will be too late by the time I get to have a conversation with this boy, or you talk to me about this boy. Because the right person that's the wrong person for you will come and say the right thing in your ear at just the right time and make you do the wrong thing.
May I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I completely agree. That's why there's a really fine line with this conversation, honestly, because it's like, I can't just, not every boy's going to be the one. I know that. I'm completely aware.
And you're quite young, so you shouldn't be worrying about the one yet.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
You get my point, though.
I understand.
So
your
it's
point.
just like, I can't sit here and put it off for so long, because there's going to be a certain point during the talking stage where you get attached to that other person. And then, you know, if I bring him to you by the time I'm attached to him,
it's too late.
It's too late, because whether you tell me, Aiyani, like, this boy is not for you, and you see certain things that I'm not seeing, right? Because you can see through him, I can't. Because I'm in La La Land, right?
Right.
By the time you introduce, the time you tell me this boy isn't for me, I'm going to be in too deep to back off. You feel me? But then if I get too early, I can't just tell this boy, oh, you got to meet my father. That's a lot. You got to think on both perspectives for the boy.
Let me
especially.
Explain why. I'm not thinking about the boy.
I know you're thinking about me.
Let me tell you why. I was a boy. I was a young man. Right? And as a father, and many fathers out there can attest to this, that as a father, we'll see things because we're coming from that male perspective.
Okay.
We already understand. Remember, I would always say to you, like when you say, "Father, you don't understand," and you wouldn't understand, and I always say to you, the game never changed.
Just the players.
Just the player, right?
Yeah.
What happened 100 years ago is still happening today. The dialect may change,
Language,
right? The
tone.
lexicon, all of that may change. Certain intonations and certain words may
But
change.
the goal doesn't change.
But the goal of the boy
Never.
does not change. The goal of the man doesn't change, and same for the woman, does not change. What makes the difference is the father in the young in the daughter's life. If the
Yeah.
father does not exist in the daughter's life, or is a present but absentee father, the daughter will go down the wrong hole, and the rabbit hole gets really deep really quickly. And for me, it's more hold on. It's
Okay.
more important for me to be that father that's going to make sure or help you as my daughter to navigate those waters, because the game does not change.
Yeah.
Only the players.
Could I say something?
Yes.
I gotta say, as much as I used to hate you saying stuff like that, because at one point it used to make me feel like you're saying that.
Because
Used to make me. Y'all see, he be correcting me. He's correcting me.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta say, I've benefited from that, because there are boys who tried to, like, get in my pants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should be saying that, but there are
Speak.
boys who tried to get in my pants. And at first, I thought they liked me for who I was. And then, just like, I don't know, I'm just trying to. Man, I can't say the words that I was thinking of, but I'm on your podcast, so I can't say it. But they're just trying to get in my pants. And it makes me feel really sad. But the good thing about it is, with all the counseling and you doing what you're supposed to do, I've dodged so many bullets. The gun got shot at me, but I dodged. I dodged so many bullets.
Yes. And
Like-
this is why I told you.
Like, no boy can say that they got one up on me or they play tactics on me. I'm intelligent by myself, number one. But with also you telling me what I need to know when certain boys are dead trying to play in my face.
Right. And because of those advice that I've given you, you've also used them to help your friends.
Oh,
And-
yes.
Right. I've heard you have conversations with your friends.
Yep.
Right? So it is important. You even ask me, like, Father, can you counsel my friend, because I think she needs some of your advice, or can you give me some advice? Here's a situation. Can I'll tell you this much, and I'll work on the rest. But go ahead.
Can I tell the podcast a story? I will use substitute names. Names.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, what name should we give him?
Give
I'm
him.
talking about. Hold on.
Call him.
We're not talking about the one in the car I was telling you about. I was talking about the first one. You told me that, like. Oh, man.
Call him Blanket.
Okay, we're not talking about the one in the car. The one I've been.
Yes, I know which one. I know you're not talking about the one in the car.
The bigger one.
Yes, I know
Dark
which
skin one.
Yes, I know what you're
Alright,
talking
alright.
about. Yeah, call him Blanket or some other name that you want to give him.
All right. So, here's an example. I was talking to this dude named Blanket, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, I was head over heels for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tried so hard to, like, always understand him. And because I'm a very understanding person, I get it. You come home from football, you extremely tired and irritated. You got it, right? But he would always try to, like, guilt trip me into doing things I didn't want to do. And what I mean by that is, like, he would say certain things that he know. Like I said, I communicate on everything, right? Boundaries, everything. I will communicate. I don't like this, that. Don't do that. That pushes me away, right? And he'd do it. And then he'd find a way to turn it back on me and be like, this is your fault. Ooh, man. Let me drink some water, y'all. This is your fault. This is your fault. And I'll be so confused because I'm like, what? Like, all right. Imagine, y'all know when y'all are watching cartoons and that question mark pops over the character's head because they're genuinely just dumb. They're so dumbfounded. Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
He would try to argue over the smallest things. And I used to be a person that argues a lot. Everybody knows that.
Right.
But as I got older, I became more nonchalant. Not in the worst way, but I know how to let little things roll off now.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything needs simple communication, right? That's why communication is so big for me.
Right.
So he would just leave me so confused. Anytime him and I argued, he and I argued, it would just be question marks over my head. What? Like, what are you mad about, right? And I'd always try to understand, right? And then he'd turn around on me. This is your fault. This is your fault. So, like, you know what would make me feel better? If you do this, if you do that. Like, and it just gave me the ick. Can I say something about an ick, too?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's it. He just gave me the ick. Like, I see what you're trying to do. Maybe if my father wasn't around telling me this stuff, right? I would have probably done it. Mm-hmm. If you weren't around, I probably would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm looking for that validation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't need it. So when he was trying to, like, force me into sending him pictures.
Nudes.
Y'all know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to make me do those things. And I get uncomfortable. And it's like.
What is it I always tell you when someone asks you to send pictures of yourself, even if it's your elbow or your wrist? What do I always tell you that they could do?
That is a bit extreme, but to the point, they could always take a photo of you, crop it, put it on somebody else's body. End goal is they're jeopardizing you.
Right.
We don't want that. And I plan to be really famous one day with my own podcast. And y'all are going to... Can I say her name? Am I allowed to say one name? Because she's eventually going to be here. Not yet. Y'all got a special guest coming though. Sooner or later. We'll see. But...
Yeah. So...
Oh, okay.
To the point of why randomly I would say, Aiyani, I love you. It is because when I say I love you, it's not because I just pull the word love out of the air.
Yeah.
That's why I always say to you when you see something, oh, I love that dress, or I use
it quite strongly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's just a girly girl thing we do.
It's not just girls that do that. Quite a lot of people, generally, they would say, I love this or I love that. Right? And love is used very loosely. Mm-hmm. Especially in today's world. Love is used very loosely.
Yeah.
Love is an action. Right? And when you say, I love this, I love that, and I always say, why do you say I love? You should say I like, because love should be reserved for the person, your family, your mother, your father, your brother, your people that are close to you, people that you have affection for, a natural emotional connection to. But when you an inanimate object like a car or clothes, you say I love you. Love is used very loosely. So when a boy says, you know what would make me feel better? If you send a pic to me, you know I love you. It's only for what they want.
Yeah, that
right?
So sucks.
Right?
It really does.
I'm going to tell you. Remember I told you the story about when I was young, there was this girl that I liked.
Yeah.
And she sent some pictures. You remember that story?
Yeah.
To a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he, what did I tell you?
He exposed her.
Because she didn't want to do what?
She didn't want to
she didn't want to have sex with him.
Yeah, she didn't want to be intimate.
She didn't want to be intimate with him, right?
Yeah.
And she knew better than not to send those pics to him. I told her, I liked her, so I told her, and not to send it to him, but she got infatuated with him, and she sent it, and he used it against her to get her to do things that she didn't want to do, and when she refused to.
Could I say something?
Yes.
I hate, and I know hate is a strong word, just like love, but I loathe and I extremely hate people like that. They are the worst, grimy people to come in contact with. Like, you're honestly, can I say something?
Yes.
If you've done that to a girl or vice versa, you are such a loser on so many levels. Like, the fact that you, I don't know if I be able to fully say what I want to say.
Say it with some discretion.
Okay. You're a loser on so many levels if you've tried to blackmail someone into being intimate with you. If you... Oh, man. I gotta figure out a better way to say it.
Say it with discretion.
I would, but... I mean, it doesn't sound horrible, but, like, I don't know if, like, it's the right... I don't even know if I should be saying... Because I get, like... As a 14-year-old up and younger, we're all aware of what it is, but like, I know I'm trying to keep it family friendly, but I don't know if I can really keep that particular sentence. So I'm trying to find a better way to say it. But you're just a loser if you ever blackmail anyone into having intimacy with you. If you can't, can I just say it?
Just go ahead.
If you can't beat the Doonies down without blackmailing somebody, you're a loser. You're just such a loser.
Can I say something?
Yes, Clyde.
I saw this thing on Facebook. It was this Jewish guy who was explaining. It was on the topic of love. He asked this guy who's eating fish, why are you eating that fish? And the guy explains, well, I love fish. I love the taste, how fish tastes.
Yes.
And the guy explains to him, so because you love fish, you killed it, you took it out of its habitat, then you killed it, and now you're eating it. So he explains to him that that's not love, that's a selfish love. That's like what this fish can do for me. You see what I'm saying? Real love is not a selfish love. It's not one, what can you do for me? Send me those pictures. Be intimate with me. It's about attending your own desires. That's a selfish kind of love. Real love is a giving love. It's you give yourself to the person that you love.
True.
So if he genuinely loved fish, he would put himself in harm, in danger.
Yeah.
To actually save that fish.
Yes.
As opposed to killing it and eating it.
True.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Honestly, Clyde, that just opened my eyes to like, I already knew that, but like, that is such a good way to explain it. There is like, okay, I'm going to say something. I strongly dislike those toxic Instagram couples so much. Because I feel like there's this glorify for like, can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it.
Go ahead.
But, no, never mind.
Ask the question.
Am I allowed to cuss a little bit? Because it would make sense for this sentence, but.
Bleep yourself. Like, instead of use the word that you want to use the first letter of the word. With the ing.
Bet if you leave me, I'm gonna kill you. Like, I don't like that stuff.
Oh,
and
someone says that to you? If
no, like on Instagram, I've seen things like that where people saying, "Oh, hold on."
If you leave me, I'm going to delete you.
Yeah. Oh man, I hate that stuff with a passion. I dislike it. I don't hate it. I dislike it with a passion. I understand if you're doing it as a joke.
Yeah.
Oh. Do I keep talking?
Yeah, keep talking.
I understand if you're doing it as a joke. But where I start to dislike it is because it's really getting glorified now. And honestly, it's not, I don't find that stuff cute. I don't. Because going back to what Clyde said, there's a certain thing with actual love and then selfish love.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people get that twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Selfish love is like only what you're getting out of it. It's not how the other person. When you love someone, you're always going to try to see their input on everything. You're always, not all the time, but a good percentage of the time, you're always going to want to know what they feel about on their end, right?
Yes.
And I feel like with a lot of boys in this generation now, some of them, I'm not going to say all, because some have proven wrong, but I do believe that certain boys don't really love the girl they say they love. They just like the stuff that they get out of it. Like the fact that they get intimacy out of it. And say the girl looks like really good. They're just able to have bragging rights. And yeah, I do this with my girl and this, that. So, yeah, that really opened my eyes. Because, like, there is a difference between, like, you might like that person physically, but you love what you're getting out of it, not the person as a whole.
Correct.
Oh my God, that sounds so professional and smart.
Yes. So when you are with your friends,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're having conversations. When they're having conversations and they're having conversations about boys, because obviously you young ladies have conversations about boys. The reason why all fathers out there should make sure that you are there for your daughter is what I'm going to say next. Some of what she just said a while ago, that if I wasn't around and giving her the advice that I had been giving her, she would have done some of the things already that she was being asked, coerced, or peer pressured into. But because I foresaw those things coming, go ahead.
Okay, I want to say something, but it might turn into a whole essay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you want to finish what you're saying, or
Yes.
do you want me?
Keep talking.
Peer pressure is so real on so many accounts because, and I was just talking about this with my best friend the other day. Even when your friends aren't forcing you to like have intimacy with boys and stuff like that, there's always that one friend who's like talking about it and things like that. And growing up in this generation, I'm not judging. Oh, yes, I am. I'm judging. I'm playing. I'm not judging. But growing up in this time and era, I have friends who've lost their virginity already. I've had friends in the past who have bodies on bodies, and then I have friends who don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just have a few. And like at one point, I felt like I know I'm just 14 and I shouldn't be partaking. Adults tell me not to. But when you got everybody around you who's sexually active, it starts to make you feel like a loser. Like, is something wrong with me that I'm not having sex right now? Like, and I know that's a little explicit to say, but I'm speaking for all the teenagers who are too afraid to say it, because I know I'm not the only one. This world is huge.
This is why what we're doing tonight is going to be helpful for other teenagers out there, and it's going to be helpful for other parents out there, fathers and mothers alike, because hadn't I been around, I'm going to talk about the decisions I've made. All right. Mm-hmm. So I had opportunities to be in relationships.
Can I get the notepad, please? Because
Yes.
I don't want to forget what I was about to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had opportunities to be in relationships, and it would have taken me away from her. And because those relationships would have taken me away from her, I chose not to pursue those relationships, because it was far more important for me as a parent to be selfish enough for my daughter. When I say selfish, I'm not being selfish for myself. Selfish enough for my daughter for me to be here for my daughter because she didn't know that my decisions would have inherently help her make the right decisions. So I gave up on being with anyone because the rearing of my daughter and helping her to understand and navigate this world of peer pressure and guys wanting to force her to do things, and friends of her that are girls are trying to peer pressure her into doing things.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want to finish what you're saying though?
No, you can go ahead.
Speaking of that, I wanted to put my input on that. I've had times, and this is not to like, I've had times where guys have asked me, like, I was alone with the guy and they've asked me if I wanted to have sex. Mm-hmm. And I would always get so scared and be like, no, right? And it would make me, I would be alone with myself thinking.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm. You hear that?
Yes.
That little vibration, yeah.
Yes. Clyde, do you hear the little vibration?
I'm not hearing anything, no.
I don't know. I hear a vibration go.
You're saying like music is playing or something? Like a bass?
Yes.
Yeah.
It may be coming across the studio.
Oh, okay,
Probably
okay.
making music over there.
Okay.
But it's not very noticeable. Just continue on.
Yeah.
Okay. It's coming from the studio next door.
There are times
Okay.
where I've been by myself with a guy that my I will admit my parents are not aware of,
Mm-hmm.
and I could have had sex, but I get choked up and I'm like, no. And there is a time where I had to say no more than 3 times, like genuinely got to tell him chill out, because at the end of the day, I think to myself, am I scary for that? Because I know a lot people like to say, you're scary if you don't do this. You know, that's where the peer pressure comes in. You're scary.
Right.
So
So let me jump back in because I wanted to finish my point. Girls, your friends that are girls and many other young ladies out there that have friends and they're not going in that direction that their friends are. They're not doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it because they're peer pressured into doing it. And you just said it made you feel like a loser because everybody's doing it and you're not doing it.
Yeah, I'm too scary to say yeah. Like,
that's where.
Does that make me a loser? That's my thought.
No,
not anymore. I don't feel that way anymore. But at the time, being 12, 13, and everyone's starting to like have oral sex and things like that. And I know that that's the reality of it. Whether y'all like to hear it or not, kids a little bit younger than me.
All right.
Yeah, y'all get the point. That's the reality of it. And when people started doing it, and then it was my turn to do it, honestly, let me be so honest. Hearing my other friends talking about it, they always made it sound so fun. Like, oh, me and this boy just did this in the bathroom. And all right, my apologies, right? And so I always be like, I wonder when my turn's going to come. My turn came up and I choked up and I said no. Because I got scared because it's like, I feel like there's so much more to it that people don't speak about. And like so much more understanding to what intimacy is than people like to think about sometimes. So it's just like, not even that. I'm going to just say this. As long as I've been growing up, private parts stay to yourself. So my little young self was just like, you trying to touch me somewhere I don't want to be touched, you making me mad uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just something that, like I've said to you many times, that the game never changes.
Just
Only the players, right? This is something that's been going on for forever, right? Long before I existed 100 years ago. And when other people are doing something, this is why that mentality, the herd mentality, always come in play. The herd mentality is about, if everybody is doing it, I just go along to get along. And when you go along to get along, you end up in the wrong situation, and it becomes a crisis. and it becomes too, by the time you realize, by the time you try to drag yourself out of it, it might be absolutely too late, right? So as your father, knowing that you're going to encounter these crises in your life, these situations in your life that could become detrimental for you, I decided that it was far more important for me to not have you see me having a revolving door of different women. When your mother and I separated, I made a conscious decision. I'm not going to have a revolving door of different women because I want to set an example. And many fathers out there don't get to have these kind of candid conversations with their daughter. What we're doing today is to help other young ladies and fathers to have a good relationships. And there are fathers out there that have great relationships with their daughters, but they are not given that.
They're not as mentally there as they are physically. Because
when you say mentally, not physically, are
because
you who are you talking about?
What I mean there are fathers out there or parents, and I know I'm not a parent, so I shouldn't be speaking, but there are fathers out there who will be like, and I've heard it from some of my girlfriends, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always that guy parent that's like, oh, I'm there for my child, I pay for my child, but like emotionally, you're not helping your kid.
Mm-hmm.
You're not emotionally, you're not there. Mentally, you're not there for your kid. Physically, you're there. She sees you. He sees you. But are you there mentally and emotionally like your kid needs? Because you're supposed to not just be there physically, but you're supposed to be there emotionally. So they know how to deal with certain things. So when they become an adult, they know how to go into the real world. That
Right.
At least that's what I've learned from adults and listening to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. So what she just said, it is very important as parents to make sure that we are there emotionally and mentally. Buying stuff, that's great. Children don't really care about that. When they get to a certain age, of course, they want you to buy the nice stuff because, they see the shiny, glitzy, and it's all about opulence. They want to get the best shoes, the latest kicks, the latest fits. They want to get the best thing because obviously they have friends, and like we talk about peer pressure, they will peer pressure them or say things to them, mean things to them, so they can dress a certain way, look a certain way. But buying things, a young child don't. They care about your love. They care about your affection.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you want to finish your thought?
No, I can pick back up from where I left off.
I will say this. From experience, I do appreciate the stuff that I get bought. Did I say that properly?
That are bought for you?
Yeah, that are bought for me. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the designers that I get, right? But sometimes I don't think, how do I say this? Because I don't really want to.
Be candid. Be open.
It's easier for you to say. I appreciate the designer and all the fancy glitz and glam stuff that I get. Because it makes me feel like, you know what I mean? But at the same time,
No, I don't know what you mean. I want you to tell me what you mean.
I appreciate getting all that stuff because it makes me feel like y'all like to see me look good.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But when you do something, and I want other parents to hear this, when you do something messed up to your kid or you hurt them emotionally and mentally, do not think buying them a new pair of sneakers or cooking pasta for them is going to make up for that apology. That is going to create some sort of resentment.
Mm-hmm.
Because it happened to me a few times. I don't have resentment anymore because I learned how to deal with it. Because I learned how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just say certain things and think because you bought me some retro 4s that I'm just going to let you off scot-free and I'm just going to forget. That's always, what you say is always going to stick with me forever and always because what you said hurt me. So that's always going to stick with me. Don't matter how old I am. Doesn't matter if I'm 69. It's going to stick with me. Don't think because you bought me a new pair of shoes or you bought me a purse or you bought me a new Pandora bracelet, it made me, I forgive you. Like, no. I appreciate the gift, but I would really like it if you articulate and apologize. Because Are
you talking about me?
I don't think we need to get into specifics.
Okay, I understand. I understand.
What I am gonna also say, what was I saying? I was talking about articulating yourself when it comes. Oh, I think a lot of parents. I understand, and I hear this again. I know I'm a kid. Y'all like to tell me, and I get I'm not a parent, and I understand. I hear this a lot on TikTok. Parents are, it's their first time winging it, right? First time having a kid, so they're not going to be perfect at everything.
Okay.
But I feel like pride, and you've been guilty of this.
Okay, talk to me.
Pride has been something that y'all let get in the way of apologizing. You've done it a few times.
Me?
Yes.
Not apologize?
You have no. There has been twice.
Okay.
And don't ask me what the situation was because I don't specifically remember.
Okay.
But what I do remember is, and with mom too, I love you, mommy, but I'm not judging you. I'm just saying there have been times where you guys knew you were in the wrong and didn't realize till after we sat down and talked about it. And I know for a fact you guys know y'all are both dead wrong. Because y'all will have a sly smirk on you guys' faces. Like a little side smirk. And you'll be trying to find 1,000,001 excuses to excuse why y'all were right.
Let me
and
ask
then
you.
Eventually,
Okay.
you'll give me okay, I guess you were right. But you've gotten better. Way 100% better at, But you guys get the pride. I think because you guys feel like your parents, the pride gets in the way of I'm always right because I'm your parent. I'm raising you, so I'm always right. You're wrong. I'm right. You're the kid. I've been on this earth longer.
All right, pause for a second.
Okay. Now I gotta pause.
Pause for a second. No,
okay.
No. I made a promise when you were very young, and I told your mom. I said I will never lie to her, right? Because the minute I start lying to her, she will think it's okay to lie to me. But you were also forced to lie, right? Well, we won't get into that because I know how it makes you feel.
Right.
Right? But when are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just beating this cough.
When I made that promise to myself, can you recount a time that I've ever lied to you?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
I'll give credit where credit is due. There's not a time where I could say you've actively lied to me. And any time you did say no, you're not the parent who's going to be like, no, and then just say because I said so. You're going to explain why you're saying no. So at least I don't feel so numb about it and create some sort of resentment against you. Like, you just don't want me to have fun. You don't want me to live. You don't want me to do anything.
Even though sometimes you're still...
Even sometimes I do say that. But I can't say 100%. I still don't feel that way. But as I've gotten older, right? I've gotten older. So I'm able to see things from a better perspective and a more mature perspective. A better perspective. So I know why you're doing the things that you're doing.
Okay. So as a parent, and I say that very strongly, right? As a parent, it is my job, and parents out there, it is our job to make sure that we set the right tone for how your life will turn out. Because if we are too laxed, you're going to feel that, oh, my father or
He
my
lets
mother.
me do anything. I can do anything.
Exactly.
And then I'm probably going to do certain things that I'm just going to regret.
Exactly.
I do think there is definitely a fine line on relaxation,
She said laxation.
and being. I feel like there are certain things you should be stern about, and there are certain things that you shouldn't be stern about. So I think there's a really fine line.
Okay. All right. Now, don't do that. Don't
Sorry,
do that.
my apologies.
Now,
I was giving y'all some ASMR, but
Okay.
my father doesn't like that. So.
no. When I'm rigid on certain things and you put up a fight, you're resistant to what I'm saying, and then something happens, what is it that you would come back and say to me?
Oh my gosh. You know, I've been working on my pride a lot in admitting things. I give credit where credit is due. There are times where my father has informed me on something because I couldn't see it for what it is. I'm usually good at seeing in between the lines. Not all the way. But to a good extent, I'm good at seeing in between the lines, right? So there are times where my father has seen certain things that I failed to see, and I didn't want to believe it until I saw it for myself, smack in my face, and I come back to him, okay, you're right.
How often does that
Hey,
happen?
hey, we're not going to push it now. We're not going to push it now, but there are times, yeah.
She'll say, Father, you were right. And I'm like,
I know I'm right. And then you said it.
I've
I've
been
been on
around
the earth for 100 years.
And lots of people know me. I would say that I've been on the earth for 100 years. Even sometime I'll say 200 years, just for giggles, right? So it is very important. Go
sorry,
ahead.
my apologies. Are you sure?
No,
Okay.
I'll finish my thought. There's been often times when us as parents, we will know something and our child don't see it, and they will beat a dead horse to try to convince us that what they're saying is correct, and we'll know different, and they'll even beat around the bend, go around the bush, as we say. They'll come up with 1,000,001 excuse and anecdotes to resolve the situation that's going on, just so they could get their way. Just so they could get their way. And when you put your foot down and said no, oh, you don't want me to have fun, you don't want me to live a life, I said, you have a lot of life to live. So what you're trying to do now, I'm not going to allow it. The one thing she knows me for, if she asks me to do something and I say yes, and she decide, okay, he says yes, now let's ask for something else. And I'll say this to her. You ask for A when you really want A and B, but you ask for only A, and then when I said yes on A, then you want to throw B in, and you don't even say, Father, go ahead, jump in. I'll allow you to jump in.
Yeah, I was going to jump in. The problem with this guy is you can't be so straightforward. I can't. Like, I understand I'm able to be honest with you, but back then, I'm speaking back then.
Okay.
It was hard. I can't just completely be so straightforward with you on everything. Because back then, again, I'm going to keep, hopefully when you hear me say back then, you think of capital letters, because I'm not talking about the present. I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Back then, you used to always just see the negative side of things all the time, right?
I hear you.
My apologies. You used to always see the negative side of things, right? So asking you for things, being so straightforward with you, I was guaranteed to always hear a no. Without fail. Like, and once I realized that you're just more likely to say no to everything, I had to start I'm gonna be honest. I had to start manipulating you and breaking it down into smaller parts because there has been times, and this has worked with mom too. I will admit, there have been times where instead of asking you for what I originally want, I ask you in parts and slowly work my way there, and then you'll see that it's not that bad. Okay, yes. So that's why once I realized that worked with you, I started doing a lot. And then when you caught on, I had to like. But point is, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So when I say no, she knows if she tries to bend or finagle her way into getting something else, and then I said, "You didn't ask for that. You asked for this. You didn't ask for that." But father, no. And then once she pushed, and I said, "Aiyani, stop." And she pushed one more time after I said stop. What happens?
Oh my gosh. I know I sound really loud right now, but I hate that so much.
Tone it down a little bit.
I'm so sorry. I hate that so much that you do that. He canceled a trip to the mall with my best friend. Listen, I come down here for the summer, right? I'm predominantly with my mom because I go to high school with up where my mom is, right?
For now, yeah.
For now. Dun, 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 dun. But but anyways, what was I saying? Yes. So I'm down here for the summer. My best friend, who's close to me in spirit, is so far in distance, right? So anytime I can get the chance that both her and I are available to hang out, I will ask you. You know that. I said I wanted some extra money because what if I see something at the mall that I want and I would like to pick it up and it's in my budget, right? You know, because with me, I always like to pick up small gifts on every event that I go to. Because one day I want to look at somebody like, yeah, I got this plushie when I was in Orlando with my friend. Yeah, we won this when we were throwing balloons at someone. Not the point. But so he told me no to the money because he said the last time he gave me money, I went on a little shopping spree. I did. Because who was going to stop me? I'm 13. At the time I was 13, I just turned 13. Who was going to stop me? You're at the mall filled with a whole bunch of stuff that you want in Claire's. And any teen girl knows if you're in Broward, Broyo, Claire's is where you go to sometimes when you want that cute little kitty backpack stuff, right? So when I'm at the mall and there's like 2 Claire's and there's a skater, there's plushies everywhere. Who gonna stop me? Nobody. Hold on. I digress. Hold on. So I went on a little shopping spree. So this time he told me no. Okay? He told me in advance. Before this thing even happened, he told me, Aiyani, if I have to tell you more than twice, the third time, I'm cutting it off. Anything you want. If I have to tell you more than once, no, there's a reason, right? Because he doesn't just say no. Because he doesn't just say no for any reason. I will give him that. So I said for the second time, and I yelled, I said, Father, what if I want something to get at the mall? He's like, no. See, no, you're not going anymore. Keep in mind, my best friend's mom was already on the way to come pick me up. So they're literally right somewhere on the turnpike to the house. And you text her mom and you tell her not to pick me up anymore. Ugh. It's just so boo. Like, yeah. You didn't need to cancel. Like, hold on. Let's let it go.
While you do that. So,
yeah.
You know, you just mentioned it, that when you ask for something and I say no and you push it and I say no a second time, the third time you risk the chance of me saying no, absolutely canceled. However, you will still push it. You'll still push it And once you push it, you know, as in all the years that you've known me, if I say I'm going to do something, do I do it or don't I?
I say 89% of the time you do it. I'm not gonna. Again, I only give credit where credit is due.
What's the 18? What's the other? What?
Because there are times
11%.
There's other times I've wanted stuff, and you said you were gonna do it, but then I do something that upsets you, and then you fall back on it. I don't like that because to me that is really inconsistent. Because, but then again, that's every parent, right? So.
Okay, so
I'm hungry.
Well, we'll get something to eat after we're done.
I'm sorry, I didn't need to announce that. It's just I feel my stomach. I'm thinking about food right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, any parents out there, any fathers out there, any mothers out there knows this. A child will push. And if you bend once or twice, that child will start thinking it's okay. You mentioned it earlier. Once you figured out how you could manipulate myself and your mom separately to get what you want, it became a habit for you.
I didn't say that. I said you used to see the bad side of things a lot back then. So I would have to ask you for, if I wanted B, I would have to ask you for A, C, and E.
All right, pause.
For you to like B.
Pause for a second.
I never said that I used to use mom or you.
Pause for a second.
He said that, y'all.
Pause for a second. When you were going to school at a time when you were living with me,
Yeah.
because she primarily lived with me for 9 or for 14 years, right? And when you were in school and you asked me for certain things that I would grant you, like you remember the first time I allowed you to do your nails?
Okay.
Wait, no, I'll tell the story.
No,
You can
no,
chime
no.
in.
Let me, please.
No.
I could tell it, please.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going to chime in.
He's gonna tell y'all the bad side of it.
No. Well, let me finish my side.
Okay.
Okay. I allowed her to do her nails. She would beg, and I'm like, no, you're not old enough yet. You're not going to get your nails done until you're 15, 16 years old, and I have to prove it, right? She's like, Father, please, right? So I allowed one of the family friends to do her nails. And boy, was that a mistake.
Oh, come
So,
on.
hold on. Aiyani went to school, and her nails became the classroom's distraction.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Don't interrupt.
Okay.
And she would come home and tell me, oh, no, Father, that's not true. What the teacher said is not true. So the principal, the guidance counselor, and myself were pretty close because they were like, you're a great father. Every school event, you're there. Guarantee. We just have to say it. You're there. And her teacher and I were also cool. So they allowed me to come to the school, and the door was left slightly open.
Oh my God!
Wait, so I could peep in, and I watched her, and I watched her, and I said, okay, 5 minutes, and I saw her. The teacher would tell her, don't do this, and she would do it. Her nails were the center of attention, and I was like, that was it. She's not getting it.
Can I chime in, please?
No, not yet.
Oh my gosh, she said I could chime in.
She came home and tried to convince me that what the teacher's saying is not so. The whole time she did not know that I saw it for myself. Go ahead.
Okay, now I finally get to chime in. I was in elementary school. I don't want to hear anything. It was my first time getting my nails done. And listen, as a girl, any girls watching this, girl to girl, because I'm a girly girl. Okay? We don't hate on other girly girls. But anyways, as a little girl who was getting her dream fulfilled of getting her nails done for the first time, how would you have acted? Because it was my first time getting my nails done. I felt like that girl. I just felt like the it girl that day. Like everybody had to see. Ooh. Everyone had to see that I got my nails done. You know? Now, see, I still got my nails done. But I mean,
And it was crazy. Hold on. Go ahead.
Way all through middle school. They didn't let me get my nails done. And now I'm in the 9th grade. So now they know. As you can see, I'm acting very normal with these classy, don't comment, with these classy nails on, okay?
All
but
right.
everyone had to see my nails back then.
Hey, you know what's crazy, everyone?
Okay.
What's crazy is that the first time she got her nails done, it was her father who got her nails done. And she thought,
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay. You know what's crazy? Ever since the first time I got my nails done, and I never got it done after that, right? Begged because as 6th all the way through 8th, all the girls in my class always getting their nails done. Long acrylic, and I went to one of those schools, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
We don't need to enunciate on it. I went to one of those schools. So the girls always getting their nails long, right? Like you could hear the tap on anything.
Mm-hmm.
They used to put pretty gems on it. Pretty, like, just straight pretty, right? And I used to want it so bad. I'd get home to mom and be like, Ma, can I get my nails done? She'd be like, no, it's not time. I didn't get my nails done until I was 16. Out of all the times, my father was the person, my mom started to like, as I got like 7th, late 7th, early 8th, she started to kind of open herself up to the idea of letting me get my nails done, right? So one day I asked her, I said, Mom, after this year, can I get my nails done? I said, next nail appointment, can I come and get my nails done? She was like, yeah. Crazy how my father, the person who's been against me getting my nails, he's been like, you can't get your nails done till you're 16, right? You can't get your nails done till you're 16. So me being 14 right now, and he is the first person that actually paid to get acrylics done for me. I know they're not that long.
Because
they're front tips.
Because I told her about being classy. Classy is very important because she's a representation of myself and her mother. And I always say, once you walk through those doors, your attitude, your behavior, and your parents, when people look at you, they're going to say, who are your parents?
Who raised you?
Who raised you?
Who raised you, you buck?
Exactly.
Who raised you?
So
why you acting like that? Stop acting like
classiness
that.
is very important. That's why my parents and attitude and all those things. And, you know, of course, many parents know that once a daughter gets to a certain age, their heads start moving and their body
May I add?
Wait. Their body
Okay.
language and like, hey, no, that's not going to work with me. None of that head movement and sassy behavior. No. That
See
doesn't
it.
work. No. Shh.
Oh,
None of that works.
okay.
None of that works for me because as a child, once you've been raised with parents that are of a certain mindset, for me, having that mindset that it's the family, I represent the family, she should represent myself and her mother, irregardless of how us as parents, you know, from when I was growing up, it was do as I say, not as I do, our parents used to say. And I wanted to break that trend, that cycle. And so allowing her to be open and being able to express herself was far more important to me, because if she's in the room, I should know where she is. And for me to think that a child is supposed to be seen and not heard was not something I co-signed to. How, with respect that she needs to understand that.
Can I say something?
Don't interject for this moment.
All right.
With respect that she has to understand that there are times when she will not be allowed to speak. But classiness, appearance is a representation of the family, the parents, not just the child, not just herself. I would say to you, it's not just about you. It's also about me and how people see me and see your mom. And for me, separate from her mom, it's far more important that she's an example of me and I'm an example of her, because if I don't set those examples, then she's not going to have an example to follow, and therefore it is why that she speaks so well. Go ahead.
I know you've been waiting so long to say that, huh?
No, I haven't been waiting long to say that. Just go ahead.
I was going to say, with all that he just said, my part, and because someone in my family has told me, my whole life, I've been very outspoken. Everybody could say that about me. Mm-hmm. Very outspoken little girl. I'm very opinionated. I like to be heard. You're going to know how I feel about things. Mm-hmm. Right? And I remember I was at a function with my family, and I think it was on your side, and someone there they got mad at me, and they told me, little kids like you are supposed to be seen, not heard. And that threw me in a loop. Ow. My bad. Threw me in a loop. Stop telling people that. Stop telling your kids that. Stop telling your teens. Whoever you raising, stop telling them that.
But you have to understand, certain cultures are that way. And
boo.
No, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That response was disrespectful.
My apologies.
Certain cultures are that way, right? And we can't impose our mindset or our way of raising our children on them. They make those decisions. That culture, that person, they
May
make.
I say something?
One moment.
All right.
And so it is based on the individual parent or parents that makes that decision to allow their child to speak. Because imagine if you weren't able to open up and speak to me.
I wouldn't be this full now.
You wouldn't be this way right now.
But can I say something?
Go ahead.
I understand that is a part of cultures. However, I do not agree. On so many levels.
You don't have to, but you have to respect it.
I do have to respect it. But can I say my opinion?
Yes, go ahead.
I feel like what people fail to realize, just because certain things are practiced in culture does not mean it's healthy and it produces the best result. How do you expect your kid to be? You want your kid to go into the work field being very good at what they do and outspoken and all these things when you're teaching your kid at home all the time. You're supposed to be quiet all the time. You're not supposed to voice how you feel.
There's a time and a place for everything.
There is a time and place for everything. But when there is the time to articulate how you're feeling, a lot of kids get shushed up. And so they always build this sort of resentment and feeling inside like they can't talk about how they feel. And so they got to bottle up everything inside. And that's really bad for people's communication skills and social skills too. That's it though.
Okay. This is why, even though cultures and parents will say or may say a child is supposed to be seen and not heard, they still get their time to speak. They still get their time because one of the parents, they will have a connection with one parent, whether it's the father or the mother, and they'll be able to express themselves. And if it's not the father or the mother, it could be the uncle, it could be the grandmother, the grandfather, or sibling, right? And they're able to express themselves. So they do get their time to speak. The problem is when a child gets the freedom to openly express themselves or his or herself without any reining, that child get carried away.
Oh, yeah. I can admit that I've gotten carried away with certain... Again, I've been outspoken my whole entire life. So I can admit there are times where I did get carried away speaking any kind of way to anybody. And I had to learn there is definitely a time and place. I understand that. I am just saying, when there is the time to talk to who you're talking to, certain cultures are so strict about that. It's certain stuff you really just have to keep to yourself when you want to talk about it, and it needs to be talked about. That's how I feel about it. But
you can feel the way you want to feel about it. You've received the freedom from me to be able to express yourself.
Be opinionated, but be respectful.
Yes.
So I gotta respect it. It's not something I agree with, but I respect it.
Okay. How are we looking in time, Clyde?
Yeah, I'm mad hungry.
Closing in on 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes.
Ooh.
All right.
We've
So
been
let's wrap it up.
recording for almost 2 hours.
I
Yes.
told you.
Can I tell the podcast something?
Go ahead.
You know, before I got on here, I was so nervous to get on here. Like Clyde and my father, they can tell y'all, whoever views this. I was so incredibly nervous. My father's been asking me for
You were worried about asymmetry.
Oh my God, I didn't want them to know that. Stop. If y'all know about that TikTok, if you know, you know. But
About the filter.
father,
Talk about that filter. Talk about, because it may help help
no,
someone.
I said I didn't want to talk about
It
it.
may help someone. It may help someone.
No.
So I'm going
Okay,
to.
fine. Okay, so there's this inverted filter on TikTok, right? And it shows you how like people perceive you and like your asymmetry and what's not perfect about you, right? Bottom line, people have used it and they see like this part of their face doesn't look this part of their face. Now, when people look at me, they say I look symmetrical. But when I tap the screen and the screen flips, I look different to myself. And so honestly, if I really speak about that, for a while, I can't even say if I truly still know what I look like. I have no real idea of what I truly look like. Because I understand I'm perceived different. But even with Clyde switching the cameras back and forth, I look different to myself in each view, right? So especially with that TikTok filter, man, it used to be, I'm not insecure about it anymore. But when little 6th grade me, when she tapped that screen and she saw what she did not like, I cried. I cried.
And this is why those social media filters are really causing young
Yes.
people.
Honestly, can I say something?
Yes.
That TikTok filter had a strain on my mental health, man. Like, honestly, that filter made me so depressed because I was like, do people really seem like that? And because when I tapped the screen, it made my face look like now I can't see it now, but back then I felt like one of my eyes used to be like a lazy eye, and then one eye used to be big, and then my teeth was more crooked because, you know, I'm still growing, right? I'm fresh out of 5th grade. So when I tap that filter and I don't look normal to them, I start freaking out because I'm like, wait, people see me like that? Are you serious right now? Are you kidding me? That is my thought process. So that's always been something.
So let me ask a question.
Oh, okay.
Do you think those filters, it's wise for young people?
Absolutely not. If you know you already have insecurities, baby girl, do not try those filters.
Not just for girls, for
Boys too. If you guys know, I think everyone's beautiful in their own way. Hashtag body positivity. But
I'll keep my opinions to myself for that on that comment. But
hashtag body positivity. However, don't just stay away from that filter, because all the way from 6th to 8th, man, that is so embarrassing, y'all. But all the way from 6th to 8th, I was so insecure about that stupid filter. Like, and then they're telling you that's the way you look in the back camera. Now, when I ask people, they be like, nah, you look symmetrical to me. Like, you look how you usually look in the mirror to me. But then when I look in their back camera, I look different to myself. And I'm like, ooh, I don't look too good. So dealing with that for 6th, I'm not early 8th. After, like, the mid-8th, I got to say, like, my mindset and everything changed about me as a person. Like, 8th grade developed me, gave me some serious development. That's not the point, though. The point is, I was really insecure.
Yeah, she's going through it, guys. She's going through it.
Y'all hear those voice cracks, but I was really scared to come on here today because I thought, what if they post this and, like, someone screen records it and they try to... Nobody cares. I gotta tell myself that. I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't sound, but nobody cares. Aiyani, nobody's worried about you like that. Like, you're somebody to your family. You're somebody to your friends. The whole world doesn't know you like that. Nobody has it out for you. Nobody's gonna screen record it and send it to the media and be like, oh, look at her. Da, da, da. And I don't look that way anymore. But...
And the world does not owe you anything.
Exactly. The world doesn't owe you anything. And can I say something?
Yes.
Any girl, any guy who's going into high school, I've gotten that advice. So, you know, I have to pass it on to you. It's only unwritten culture, right? Nobody cares about you. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Okay, I'm going to give y'all an example. Hold on. After I get this cough out. There's this Tory boy.
Drink some water. Yeah, you want some of mine?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
There's this Tory Birch bag my mom bought me. And
A Tory Birch bag. We're not advertising, but did you just hear that?
sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So, being in middle school from, give it about 6th to late 7th, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would always see girls in high school, the girly girls, because I've always, since I was young, always wanted to be a super girly girl. Mm-hmm. I love girly stuff, right? All right. I'd always see those girls bring their school stuff in a purse or like a tote bag. And I always I always liked it. I thought it was so pretty, like, you know?
She caught herself.
I did. And so, again, I got this big tote bag that my mom gave to me. She passed down to me, right? It's really pretty. I like it. But I was afraid to bring it to school because I'm like, what if people look at me and think Because what if people look at me and they're like, that bag is too big. Why does she have that? Like, she's doing the most. She want to be seen so bad. But being in high school now, nobody cares. And there are so many other girls with tote bags, bigger than mine, tote bags that are almost down to that. Like, not down, I'm exaggerating, but you get the point, right? Nobody cares. Listen, if you're doing anything you think people would judge you for, 1 out of 10 times there's that one person who just, I can't say what I wanted to say.
1 out of 10 person what? Edit yourself.
I could like bleep it in a way.
Okay.
It's always that one person who's gonna ick ride you every time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Person who's gonna ick ride you, and ignore that person. Because the rest of us don't care. Mm-hmm. We're all worried about getting, and with me now, I'm not worried about anybody else at my high school. I mean, I care about my friends, but like transitioning, all my classes are spread out this year. I got no classes with any of, is it good? Okay, I got no classes with any of my friends. My campus is huge, right? And it's so spread out. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm never worried. I pop my AirPods in, and I'm just focused on trying to make it to the next class on time. Because, oh, my gosh, the walk from A to B is, like, exhausting. Man.
Oh, we're looking at time, Clyde.
But I'm ready to eat, I'm not gonna lie.
2 hours. Okay.
You think it's time to end it now?
Yeah, I think we're gonna. Oh, you just getting started.
No, I'm actually the whole 45 minutes we've been talking. The first time we came
45 minutes.
No, the last 45 minutes.
Okay.
The first time I came to the podcast room ever, and I met Clyde. Clyde has met me before, but I was super young, so I'm not This is the point. Oh my gosh, Aiyani, shut up. Long story short, he brought us here, and then we went to go eat afterwards, and I've just been thinking about those tacos I got the first time I was here. And the whole last 45 minutes we've been speaking, I really just want to eat something right now. I'm a mad hungry.
All right. So
Where you go?
So let's wrap it up, Clyde. So
Bye.
thanks, everyone. It was fun, and I think we'll do this again. And other fathers out there, be careful. Other fathers out there, you want to have a space to sit and talk with your daughter, you're welcome at the Think and Say podcast. We're here for you, and it's wonderful that I can sit with my daughter and have this conversation. You want to get on the podcast, you can call 1-844-PUT-ME-ON. That's 1-844-PUT-ME-ON, which is, I like to say 1-844-PUT-ME-ON, the Think and Say podcast. So that's one way you can get in touch with us to get on the podcast. You can also DM us on Instagram, and we'll get you on the podcast. And if you know us directly, obviously that's a shoe-in. So please remember to like, share, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you can know every time that we release something new. And on that note, I think you guys must understand that this was a very interesting, candid conversation with my daughter, Aiyani Soshahi.
Some fun personality in here.
Yes.
Y'all better run these views up, these likes, everything. Comment section. Be blessed I was here, y'all. I give y'all pure entertainment.
Yes.
Don't worry, y'all. Y'all gotta see me again, though.
Turn up that music for us, Clyde.
Bye. I'm hungry.
Yes, that's the last thing you're going to say. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
It's done? Recording?
Yeah, we're about done.
Like, is the camera off, though?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Just relax. Clyde will let us know.